Red Devils, welcome back to the Stretchwood End. Here we are, another day. It is Monday. Hope we had a decent weekend after shall I say, a underwhelming result with our draw against Leicester. But it was not, surprising, but it was also not expected, So we move on from that. We're kind of getting tired now of these players that are performing badly, inconsistently, etc. But I want to ask how you guys are doing. And of course, it is me, your host, Sashin Johnson, and I bring you the latest news, of course. And as it says in the thumbnail, Ragnick wants Ten Hag. And in the headline, it says Ragnick's demands. And in today's video, I'm going to speak to you about the latest reports that have come out of Ragnick speaking to the board, but indirectly exactly speaking to the board and telling them exactly what they need to do in terms of recruiting a new manager and the type of players that they will need to have a better squad at Manchester United, and exactly how long it might take for us to actually fix all the problems that we have in the first team and of course within the club. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first bit of news that came out with regards to Ragnick being interviewed, he has stated that he basically wants Eric Ten Hag. He said this plenty of times before, but this time it seems like he really has told the board, go and get Eric Ten Hag. That is the man that I want to be working with and want at Manchester United being the manager. He doesn't like the delay. He hates the fact that they are still taking their time with regards to getting the man appointed. And he's also stated in this particular interview that he has said that when the new coach does get in, we need to look at the style of play. We need to look at the tactics. We need to look at, the coaching, tactics and the work ethic that he has when he does get here. And that is basically what Ragnick wants to do early enough before the end of the season and before, the preseason starts for the new season, so that they can start looking at DNA, as he said himself, that they can start looking at the type of players that they would like to bring in, the type of recruitment that they need to do. He's said, also to the media, but basically indirectly telling the board that these are the things they need to look at. Basically, what has happened is they've made mistakes in terms of appointing certain managers, and they haven't known exactly what that manager's thought process, work ethic, and coaching style and tactics were before they appointed him. They basically, in his opinion, appointed only because to have a big name manager managing Manchester United. There was no future planning, there was no thought process when making these appointments. And even worse, with the signings that was made, because the signings that were made was either, too big in terms of the amounts that were paid, but then the player, lacked quality, and it was not the players that the coaches basically wanted. And that led to a domino effect with certain players staying at the club and being used for the next manager who doesn't want to use those players but is forced to use them because of branding rights, because of contract agreements, because of certain players having to play, because they have power over the manager and, are able to speak to the board and say that they are not happy. That is basically the things that Ragnick outlined and said that this needs to change. That we need to look at a new manager when he does come in and ensure that he is on the right track with not just the vision of the club, but also the vision of the players alongside the coach, moving forward all together in unity. Basically, Ragnick also came out and said the type of players that needs to be, shall I say, pinpointed and targeted to sign, in the summer. And he basically said that the players at the club, there's more technical players than physical players. And there isn't a balance to the two with regards to the first team. And he wants to basically have physically strong players, fast players, to be able to press and to close down and to, attack with pace. He wants the club to sign, players that are also more technical. Because even though we do have technical players, some of these technical players basically don't want to be at the club. Some of them are leaving. Some of them have complained. Some of them have basically given up on the club and don't really care where the club ends up at the end of the season. And Ragnick knows which players need to be sold, which need to be let go and have not their contracts renewed, and which players need to be replaced. He knows this, and he's basically told the board the type of players that they need to look at. He's told the scouting team exactly what type of players they need to look at to go and sign for the new manager, which needs to be Erik ten Hag. In his opinion, Rangnick, and of course in my opinion, here at the Stretford End, we want Erik ten Hag. I'm also, reminded now of, Erik ten Hag basically saying that in my previous video that he is ready to take over at Man United. So if he is ready to take over, and Rangnick has been saying plenty of times, and now more recently in today's news, saying that he wants Erik ten Hag and has given the guidelines as to why he wants him and what is needed to be done at the club for the new season, why are we delaying? Why are we not getting Erik ten Hag signed? Why is there delays? It's simple. The man says, come and get me. The director of football, well, a football consultant to the club in Rangnick, soon as his interim position, changes, he's giving you the guidelines of what you need to do and who you need to sign, and that will basically mean that we can have a blueprint to work from, to build from, to ensure that everyone sticks to the plan that is a successful plan that Rangnick wants to put into place for the betterment of Manchester United, for the progression into that elite level that we need to be at with Manchester United. Of course, more reports from Rangnick's interview came out, and he has said that it will take 2 to 3 transfer windows, before we can fix what is happening in terms of the players at the club, and also, getting rid of the players that are currently at the club. 2 to 3 transfer windows. So if it works out according to his plan, that would be the summer transfer window, the January window in next season, and another summer transfer window. Meaning that next season, it's probably best that we play Europa League. I've said it before. We need to, deserve and take what we deserve, which is currently now a Europa League place. We are not good enough to finish in the top 4 with the way things are currently standing. So it might sound bad to some of you Manchester United supporters, but I believe that we should just take Europa League as it comes. Of course, I don't want to play UEFA Conference League, but if that is the case, then we do that. In all honesty, I probably want us to have no European football, and just have domestic football, thus giving the coach, whoever might be, in my opinion, again, being Erik ten Hag, it probably will be best for him. Then he'll be able to work on his team 100%. He will have weeks, to work on his team to ensure that he brings his tactics across, strongly, and it will help us in the long run in terms of development for the team, development for the players that will be coming in, tactics to be, learned, to be practiced, to be trained, to ensure that we can be a much stronger, a better team, a more elite level team with tactics and with a coach that is willing to learn and improve and also challenge those such as Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel. That is basically why we need Erik ten Hag. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He is the man for Manchester United. I don't want to see any other manager take over at Manchester United. Rangnick has given the guidelines. We don't need to delay anymore. Rangnick has demanded that he wants Erik ten Hag. He's demanded that we buy the right players in the January window, being technical but also strong players, fast players, players that can change the game in an instant, players that are quick to get in behind, quick to close down, quick to counter-attack when we do have the possession of the ball, players that are technical in tight spaces to play, possession football when we do face a team that gives us a low block that defends for 90% of the game. This is what Rangnick wants to do. He wants to improve Manchester United, but in order for that to happen, the board and the Glazers need to ensure that they give him and the new manager, being Erik ten Hag, potentially, because it seems like he's going to be our manager. The news is slowly but surely moving closer and closer to him stating that he is going to become Manchester United manager. Some reports saying that he's looking for a house in Manchester. Some reports saying that he is, slowly but surely going to be interviewed again. But this time the interview will entail exactly him being given the offer to become Manchester United manager. The reports saying that Ajax Amsterdam are getting tired of hearing questions about Erik ten Hag leaving and becoming Manchester United manager, and they feel that they should get the deal done as soon as possible, because waiting until the end of the season is going to be a bit of a counter issue, because then they will also have delayed their own plans for whatever they want to do, going forward after Erik ten Hag leaves. Certain players are questioning the club and their commitment to the club because they want to probably leave with Erik ten Hag. I've said it, players such as Anthony and Jurriën Timber in the previous video. If you haven't seen it, definitely go and check it out. We should be having Erik ten Hag as the manager. That is it. Rangnick wants him. We want him as the fans. And we definitely know that some of the players want him. Yes, that was the last bit of news I wanted to speak about. It is also reported in the news today that there is a split in the dressing room with regards to the potential appointment of Ten Hag. Majority of the players are quite excited to have Erik ten Hag as the new manager potentially. But there are players in the dressing room that feel that perhaps Erik ten Hag is an underwhelming choice. Idiots. They are basically just not wanting to work hard under the manager they don't know. They don't want to, have their positions threatened at the club. They don't want to be replaced by players that are better than them. Because we know that some of the players at the club currently are not good enough. We know that they need to be replaced. We know that we need a defensive midfielder and another midfielder, because Pogba, Lingard, Mata, them are all leaving. Matic is leaving as well, potentially. You look at, the defense, we definitely need a new centre-back. Eric Bailly might be out of the door because of him not getting first in football. Who knows if the coach comes in and wants to replace Harry Maguire. We definitely need a striker. So certain players at the club, such as Anthony Martial, could be potentially leaving. So there are players at the club that are, afraid to be replaced, afraid to be sold, afraid that they won't have the same power that they've had under previous managers, where they could speak to the board behind their backs, leak whatever information they want to leak and complain. That won't happen under the new coach. It won't happen under Erik ten Hag. That is the reason why some of these players feel that it is an underwhelming choice. It's just stupid reports that are them once again complaining, not getting what they want, crying like little babies. They need to be gone. They must not be at the club. That is my opinion. I feel that they are just holding us back, holding the team back, and just being toxic, and they need to leave. I don't care who they are. I've mentioned some of them, the Pogbas, the Lingards, Rashford to a certain extent. These type of players with their attitudes need to leave. They need to be gone so that we can have a fresh reset with players that want to be here, players that want to win, players that want to play for Manchester United and do everything for the name on the front, which is Manchester United. We need to ensure that that gets done. I am really, really wanting Erik ten Hag to be the manager. I'm waiting for the day that it says that he is basically appointed, that he's going to be appointed, that there's agreement between us and Ajax Amsterdam for an exit or a compensation fee for him so that he can sign the deal. I just want to have that news already. But as always, thank you guys for joining me on today's video. Thank you for watching as well. And if you've made it this far into the video, I want to say that I appreciate you and I'm thankful for your support that you have given the Stretford and to me, Sashin Johnson. Of course, links to our various socials are in the descriptions below. Continue to subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. Our goal is to have 1,000 subscribers, and I know that we can do it and reach more Manchester United supporters right across the world. Thank you guys for joining me. Till we speak again soon. That is it, me, Sashin Johnson, from the Stretford End. Goodbye, Reds.